I take ownership for not being able to put points on the board. It all starts with me and ends with me. And so,
and how Green Bay lost. But this Philadelphia loss is right there, in my opinion, because they had no business losing this ball game at all. And we gave them grace the entire season because of the talent. When you talk about the inefficiencies on the offensive side, we all felt like, well, they can get it right.
It was lifeless. It was gutless. It was heartless. It was just less.
I think I'm always growing. I'm always taking in my experiences and learning from everything that we go through. I think it's tough to single out one individual, especially in a moment like this. We all got to improve, and that's how I look at everything that we go through.
Nick talked about how
the Philadelphia Eagles season is over. Dead, finished, kaput. And somehow, the biggest explosion did not happen on the field in that 23-19 playoff loss to the San Francisco 49ers. It happened at a podium, in front of microphones, out of the mouth of Jalen Hurts. He is breaking the internet right now. Not because of what he did in 4 quarters, not because of 2 interceptions, not because the defending Super Bowl champions just got embarrassed at home. People are losing their minds over what he said after the carnage, and what it really means for the Eagles. Before we break this all the way down, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell so you do not miss any of our breakdowns. We talk real football, real locker room politics, real NFL pressure, not the watered-down stuff you get on TV.
And it's hard to explain why. If they didn't have any talent, that's the easy answer. They don't have talent.
Do you see?
Now, let us talk about what just happened in Philadelphia, because this was not a normal playoff loss. This was one of the most humiliating collapses you are going to see from a defending champion.
The 49ers won this game with their 5th, 6th, and 7th linebackers on the roster. The 49ers won this game and outgained Philadelphia 361-307 without Nick Bosa, without Fred Warner, without Brandon Ayuk. Screw you.
The Eagles, reigning Super Bowl winners, at home, crowd rocking, season on the line, and across from them, a 49ers team held together with duct tape and prayer. No Nick Bosa, no Fred Warner, no George Kittle. Kittle tears his Achilles in the first half and is done. San Francisco is throwing practice squad bodies on the field.
49ers literally pulled him off his couch and said, we got nothing. We got nothing. Today, Eric Kendricks had 10 tackles and looked like Fred Warner to me.
Eric Kendricks, 33 years old, dumped by the Cowboys, written off as finished, shows up and has 10 tackles, then makes the game-saving pass breakup on the final play. A Dallas cast-off just ended Philadelphia's season. Let that sit for a second. That is the context. That is what makes the post-game press conference so explosive, because when Jalen Hurts walked up to that podium, cameras flashing, reporters loaded with questions about this disaster, everyone expected something. Anger, frustration, real accountability for the people who deserved it. Instead, we got Jalen Hurts taking all the blame on himself, saying they came up short, saying he did not get it done, saying it starts with him.
I take ownership for not being able to put points on the board. It all starts with me and ends with me. And so,
on the surface, that sounds perfect. That is what we say we want from a franchise quarterback. Protect your guys, fall on the sword, be the adult in the room, be the leader. Except, is it really leadership in this situation? Because while Hurts is stacking every ounce of blame on his own shoulders, the real problems in Philadelphia are getting swept under the rug, like dirt at a crime scene. Let us start with Kevin Patullo, the offensive coordinator, the man calling the plays, designing the plan.
The Eagles scored 19 points with the NFL's most expensive offense. They mustered 119 yards total in the second half.
19 points at home, in the playoffs, against a defense missing its stars. The Eagles had Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, one of the best skill groups in football, and they managed 119 yards in an entire half of playoff football. That is not just bad, that is pathetic. So when reporters asked Hurts directly about Patullo, about that relationship, about whether he believes in this scheme, he had a chance to say something, anything, even a hint, and he would not touch it. He said he was not going to get into that he was focused on what he could control, that it was on him. Wait, you are willing to take every hit yourself? But you cannot even acknowledge the obvious reality that your offensive design has been trash for months?
I think I'm always growing. I'm always taking in my experiences and learning from everything that we go through. I think it's tough to single out one individual, especially in a moment like this. We all got to improve, and that's how I look at everything that we go through.
Nick talked about how
This was the same scheme defenses had been laughing at. Basic, predictable, elementary. Multiple teams came out after playing Philly and said the same thing. It is simple to defend. You know what is coming. That is not a Jalen Hurts execution problem. That is a design problem. But Hurts will not say it. He will not even dance near that line. He is protecting everybody around him, taking the arrows, playing good soldier. And part of you has to respect that, because you can tell he is trying to keep the locker room from exploding.
In its nature, we heard a lot of guys after they played the Philadelphia Eagles say, it's right there in front of you.
The other part of you, the part that watched that disaster, wants to scream. Because while Hurts is being diplomatic, the real dysfunction in that building is festering like an infected wound. Let us talk about A.J. Brown. This has been building all year. Sideline blow-ups with the head coach, visible frustration, pouting over targets, body language that tells you everything you need to know. The franchise quarterback and the #1 receiver do not enjoy playing together, and everyone has seen it. In the biggest game of the season, it showed up again.
And as part of them self-cannibalizing, you had Nick Sirianni arguing with A.J. Brown on the sideline. A.J. Brown had a big drop. Saquon Barkley had a big drop. Devontae Smith had a big drop. Massive, massive moments in that game.
3rd and 5, second half. Big moment. Ball hits A.J. Brown right in the hands. Dropped. Later, crucial 4th quarter. Devonta Smith, another elite receiver. Ball hits both hands in the wind. Dropped. Those are not Jalen Hurts failures. Those are your stars not making plays. Those are Pro Bowl receivers failing to execute with the season on the line. And what does Hurts say? We just did not make the plays. We came up short. Starts with me. That is it. No mention of drops, no mention of details, just a blanket take that wraps everyone in the same soft cover.
Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown have clashed for several years. They had an off-the-field incident and personal clash that for a while I thought they had resolved, but it's one that I don't know if you ever quite get over it. I think they just don't like each other. I don't think they hate each other. I just think they don't like each other.
Now you have CBS analyst Jonathan Jones saying the quiet part out loud, saying the stuff we saw on TV was bad, but the stuff we did not see in that locker room, in that building, is worse. Read between those lines. This is a team that won a Super Bowl last year with Kellen Moore calling plays. Same quarterback, same core weapons, different coordinator, different results. This year, the passing game has been stuck in mud. The route concepts have been simple. The rhythm has been off. Why is not it working? That is the question Jalen Hurts will not answer. That is the question he is ducking.
AJ has pouted, complained, all but mutinied all year long, all but rebelled. It's always over targets and catches and targets and catches and targets and catches. I don't.
Look at his actual stat line. 168 through the air, 20 completions on 35 attempts, 2 picks, both great plays by rookie corner Quinyon Mitchell, not wild, reckless decisions, just tight window throws where the defender made a better play. On the other side, the 49ers turn the ball over twice and still win. You know why? Because they have Kyle Shanahan. They have a system they trust. They have answers. They scheme guys open. The Eagles have talent that cannot execute, receivers dropping the ball, a basic pass game with no deception, and a quarterback who will not call anyone out.
Yeah, we just didn't make the plays.
Bryant McFadden, 2-time Super Bowl champion, said it flat out. The Eagles had no business losing that game. None. On paper, on talent, on situation. They should have rolled.
But they did not keep their issues in-house. It spilled out for everyone to see. And there was a lot of dirty laundry that was out there. And just imagine of what we heard and what we saw this season. Imagine what we didn't hear and what we didn't see, if that's what came out onto Broad Street, if you will. So
Instead, Shanahan outcoached Nick Sirianni so badly it felt criminal. San Francisco ran a trick play. Jawan Jennings throwing a touchdown to Christian McCaffrey completely flipped the game. That is coaching. That is creativity. That is trust in your players to execute something big. What did Kevin Patullo do? Copy-paste the same looks that have been stale for months?
But this is a team that offensively did what they did last season, did what they did to a proud Kansas City Chiefs defense there in the Superdome. And so you do have to wonder when they did it with Kellen Moore, who's now the New Orleans Saints head coach, why isn't it working with Kevin Patullo? Because
And Hurts still protected him. Then came the line that really set people off. Hurts said this loss was not on any individual, that they all came up short, that it is a collective failure. On the surface, that sounds noble. In reality, when everything is everyone's fault, it becomes no one's fault. If the coordinator who cannot scheme guys open is not responsible, if the receivers with huge drops are not responsible, if the head coach who is yelling at his star receiver on the sideline is not responsible, then who is? Just the quarterback at the podium? That is why this press conference has people split down the middle. One side is saying, this is what leadership looks like. This is a man protecting his teammates, keeping the dirty laundry in-house, refusing to throw anyone under the bus.
Persevere through. Brock Purdy threw 2 interceptions in this game. 2 great plays made by the first-team All-Pro in Quinyon Mitchell. But the Eagles only scored 3 points off those 2 turnovers. Christian McCaffrey.
The other side is saying, this is enabling. This is how bad cultures stay bad. This is how problems go unfixed, because nobody is willing to say this is not good enough. Both sides have a point. Here is what we know for sure. The Eagles' offense was broken all season. The passing scheme was basic. The relationship between Hurts and A.J. Brown is clearly strained. The coaching staff has real issues. Kevin Patullo's system does not match this personnel. And Jalen Hurts just told the world, it is all on me. Is that admirable or is that dangerous?
Having everything in front of us, it was about winning. And that's something that we didn't collectively do. And that starts with me. So I take it very personally on that.
Look across the field to San Francisco. They lose George Kittle in the first half, torn Achilles. Their best offensive weapon outside McCaffrey, gone in a flash. Season over for him. You know what fullback Kyle Juszczyk said after the game? They just found a way. With backups, with role players, with guys signed off the street. They adjusted, they adapted, they did not blink. The Eagles had everything: Super Bowl pedigree, home field, healthy stars, rest advantage, and put up 19 points. At home, in the playoffs, with that roster. Unacceptable. Winning is hard. Repeating is harder. Everyone agrees. But what makes it impossible is refusing to face what is broken, not addressing the real problems, not holding coaches accountable, not demanding more from your stars, not changing a scheme that clearly does not work. Right now, Jalen Hurts is trying to protect a cracked culture by taking all the hits himself, and the internet cannot decide if that makes him a hero or part of the problem. Here's the truth. You can be both. You can be a good teammate who never throws guys under the bus, and you can also help dysfunction stay alive by never challenging it.
Because they had no business losing this ball game at all. At all. At all. And we gave them grace the entire season because of the talent. When you talk about the
Hurts clearly cares about his locker room. He does not want a circus. He does not want sound bites that follow teammates into the offseason. He is trying to hold the pieces together before a brutal reset hits this franchise. But leadership eventually has to be more than press conference quotes. At some point, it means confronting real issues. It means calling for changes. It means going to your coach and saying, this scheme is not good enough. It means going to your receivers and saying, we cannot have drops in these moments. It means telling the truth.
That's what great coaches do in critical moments of a ball game, knowing when to go to that trick play, knowing the situation and that it says it fits us best to call it right now, and knowing that your players will execute.
When he talks about everybody being honest, that has to include coaches, receivers, coordinators, front office, not just the quarterback. Right now, he will not say that. Maybe he cannot. Maybe he will only say it behind closed doors. But that gap between what we saw on the field and what he is willing to say on the mic is what is driving people crazy. We all saw A.J. Brown drop that pass. We saw the argument with Nick Sirianni. We saw the offense look like a high school playbook against a wounded defense. We know this is not just a Jalen Hurts problem.
Regardless of what it looks like, it's about how you learn from it, how you respond from it. And so that's not on any individual. It's on us as a unit, this team this year.
Because in a league where fans are starving for real accountability, for someone to actually name what is wrong, the Eagles quarterback gave them polished corporate speak. He protected everyone. He buried himself. And now we are all trying to figure out if that was wisdom or weakness.
To those who have done that, I think this is Kyle Shanahan's best coaching job, regardless of Super Bowls, because of what they have lost.
One thing is certain. This offseason in Philadelphia is about to get messy. Changes are coming. They have to. When they do, we will find out if Jalen Hurts' post-game diplomacy was the move of a steady leader or a missed chance to finally confront what is broken. What do you think? Is he the leader this locker room needs, or is he helping a bad culture stay alive by taking all the blame? Let me know in the comments.